Welcome back to Shining in Korea. We're going to try and make this a pretty quick video because we're doing something we've done before, but we're going to try and do a little different. So, we are making another corn whiskey. But, as opposed to the last corn whiskey we made, video somewhere.
Felt like you were about to smack me in the face there.
This time, instead of using the Korean corn and, well, we're still using Korean sugar, we're going to use some other stuff that we've acquired to see if it makes a difference in the flavor.
We actually are still using some Korean corn.
Well, we do have some Korean corn.
Yeah, we've got these.
Yeah, our little steamed roasted corn things we bought, we've got those.
But then we have some American frozen white corn.
Yeah, we've got some super sweet white corn as opposed to our Korean corn.
Some extra sweet corn cobs. Some
canned sweet corn.
Canned sweet corn.
So, this time...
It's going to be really corny.
Yes.
Just like Chuck.
So, again, this is a different brand of Korean sugar.
It's No Brand.
No Brand! But, because we found a No Brand store near us, and we like that store.
We do.
Some people don't like that particular table.
And we don't care.
That's their thing. They're near us, and they're cheap. I like that. So, we're going to take these corn cob thingy burbobs, hoojibawidgies, and we are going to... Frappe them, cob and all, just like last time. We're keeping the cob because honestly, I think the cob has kind of a filtering effect.
I think the cob also, the cob does retain a little bit of flavor from the corn itself,
a bit of
obviously,
texture, and flavor.
Therefore, I think having it in the mash is helpful.
I think it does something because if you're from the South, you've heard of corn cob wine, corn cob jelly. Now, generally, they're considered the po-ass who can't afford anything else, but you can make stuff out of it. It's edible. It's there. Edible. It's a thing. So we're using the whole thing.
Yes.
And let's see, we got sugar, we got corn, we got more corn. Oh, and we have these. We ordered these off G-Market. This is a
bucket.
It's a fermenting bucket. At least that's what we're using it for. But it's got a little nozzle on here. You can...
Which hopefully means that because...
all the stuff that settles at the bottom and the grain and whatnot, we ought to be able to drain off without having to, like we've been doing before, pour the whole thing through a bag and then have to squeeze all the junk out of it.
Yeah, that's
we ought to be able to get some of the...
That is the plan, so we're going to see how that works. All right,
so this is a nice 20 liter? 24 liter?
It's a bucket.
I think it's 20 liters, so it's just over 5 gallons. So, we are going to break our stuff out. We'll give you the highlights, but we're not going to watch the whole thing. We're going to boil some corn. We're going to steep some barley. We're going to add all the stuff, and we're going to throw it in the bucket. All right, so we have ground up all the corn.
Woo! Let's just say that our
food
processor has quit.
Yeah, if you're going to grind up the cob like we did, make sure you have a food processor that's rated for
professional,
like, some heavy-duty stuff.
So our food processor worked its butt off, and we've decided that after today, we're going to retire it to just chopping up the girls' food.
Yes, we're gonna
get a heavy-duty food processor.
Our toxic Amazon Prime relationship is gonna pop up again, and we're gonna order some more Shining specific cooking accessories.
Let's just say when we move from here, the Koreans really will be like, what the hell do these people do in the kitchen?
They don't care as long as you pay them.
I don't know. They asked a lot of questions last time.
Well, that's because I was being cheap and only wanted one truck, and
that was your fault then.
Yeah, they were trying to figure out why we had so much stuff to cram into one truck. Anyway.
We're not moving for at least 2 years, so we ain't got to worry about that shit.
So, we are going to now put water in here. By the way, from our original recipe we used last time, since we decided we were going to clean all the stuff out of the freezer.
No. Let's just be honest, Chuck. Your wife bought most of the stuff for this recipe, which means that I bought more than probably what we should have for this recipe. So let's just call it like it is.
Well, I was cleaning the corn out of the freezer and...
well, you haven't even gotten half. That's only half of the corn out of the freezer.
Yeah, this is half of what she bought.
Yeah, well, I was preparing for 2 mashes. Apparently, maybe 3.
Anyway, we've got at least twice the amount of corn in this one that we did in the last one. And if you follow the ratios, because you have to have a certain amount of sugar to your corn, that means we need more sugar. So we've taken out the no brand sugar, and I've got a 5 kilogram bag of organic sugar that we bought somewhere for something, probably Shining.
Cane sugar. We bought it specifically for Shining, and we got it from the Big Carrot Market.
She remembers all this.
Oh, I'm the one who bought it.
I just found a big bag of sugar in the pantry.
You don't pay attention. Is all of the water going in?
Well, let's pour that in and stir it up. And we'll start with 2 gallons and see how we are. But as you can see, we've got the little table stove up out over here because our house is on LPG, and LPG is
Expensive.
strangely expensive for house heating and stove and whatnot. So we're using our little butane stove because that can in there costs us like $1. So we are gonna heat this up to about 160-ish, and then we're gonna put the lid on it and let it sit for about an hour.
All right, so is this enough water?
Looks like corn soup.
Yeah.
Well, it technically is corn soup, but it's a little thick. We'll add some more water. We'll go with 2.5 here. Can't do too much more. We're gonna run out of pot.
Hey, we're also about to run out of water. We're gonna get more water too. Basically, we have enough for 2 mash buckets now. Yes?
Well,
Yes. I think so. And I'm okay with that because that means we'll do 2 small runs.
it depends on how thick we make it. We can probably still get this all in 1 ton, but it might be more than our 3-gallon pot can take
I
out.
would like to do 2 instead. And since I bought all the stuff for it and planned this mash, then we're going to go with my suggestion. We're going to do 2 small runs. And that way you have one that you don't have to age and one you can age.
So, like I said, we're going to get this up to about 170. Seeing as our pot is getting kind of full, we will probably dissolve the sugar in a different pot and then mix them together in the mash tun. So,
Or boiling corn.
we're boiling corn.
And then we're going to take a break and find food and go get more water and clean out another mash bucket. All that good stuff that y'all don't need to see and don't care about.
We're probably going to cut most of this anyway. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on the mobile cam. So we've got corn soup, actually with barley in it. We've already put our barley in it to let it steep, and added some extra amylase and the nutrient stuff, yeast nutrient, yes, the yeast nutrient in it. Now we are melting sugar because I realized our pot size was growing a little beyond what our original plans were, so we're doing the sugar in a different pot.
Well, we're also doing it in a different pot so that when we put it into our buckets, we can split that out because it's going to be a little more complex. We want to make sure we have an equal amounts in both. Right.
And another thing we're gonna try and do, because I think it'll work, but I'm not positive, is we've got ye old citric acid here, and we're gonna try and make some of what they call inverted sugar that normally you see it used in the brandies, but you only use it on the actual sugar. So I think it should work.
We're going to find out.
We're gonna find out.
All right, so how much citric acid did we put into this and how many things of water was in this?
There was 2 liters of water in there.
That was what, 5 kilograms of sugar?
Yes, 5 kilograms of sugar total.
So this is 2.5 kilograms.
2.5 kilograms of sugar in that pot.
2.5 kilograms and 2 liters of water. Yep.
Yes.
All right.
So, and I think we only have to put something like a half teaspoon of the citric acid in there.
When do we put that in?
Once the sugar's melted. Anyway, and then we're going to do that a second time because we've got 2 fermenting buckets out. So we're going to split the load between 2 of them. So we're going to make this twice. Yay. All right, we got our 2 little fermenters done up here. We put our sugar in with some water, and then we threw some, what's the temperature at?
About 116 for both of them.
All right, and then we put our corn mash in there. Currently our specific gravity is reading about 1.07, which is right in the butter zone. It's still a little too warm to pitch yeast at the moment, so we're gonna let this cool down for a while. We'll pitch some yeast, we'll put it in the
Fermenting room.
fermenting room.
Nobody stays over. It's not a guest room unless you want to consider our moonshine the guest.
Hopefully this one doesn't smell like farts like the last one did. Oh God.
That one was pretty rank.
We just,
The smell of the fermentation on that one was really strong.
yeah, we put some of that, what was it, 1116 or something in.
It was strong.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to let this cool down a little bit before we pitch the yeast. Then,
Which will probably be just standard old DADY yeast.
yeah. Have we put the yeast nutrients in yet?
Yes, all that's already in.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I must have missed that part.
Yep, we just let this cool down a little bit, and then we'll pitch our yeast, and with a snap of our fingers, we'll be back in a week. All right, phone video time, because I didn't want to break out the camera. So, the original idea I had for this bucket, I think is going to work better with brandies, because you can tell with the amount of corn we got in here, it's covering up the spigot here, so if we tried to drain out of that, I think it's just going to clog up. So we're going to have to do the normal, pour this into a bag and strain it out. So there's our clear, and then there's all our dropped cap. I think if we try to do that with a fruit brandy or something, the fruit will break down a lot better. But we're gonna drain that out, we're gonna cook it off and see what we get. All right, welcome back to a few weeks later. Because
And a few runs later.
some Yahoo forgot to film the closing for this video. Anyway, so what you see before you
Is gloriousness.
is the results of the white corn whiskey run.
And 2 other corn whiskey runs.
Yes. So,
We've made a blended corn whiskey because it worked.
yes, instead of occupying several of our smaller jars that we use or like to use for other stuff, we tasted them, we mixed them together to make sure they would mix, and they mixed together pretty well. They all had very similar flavors. So
They all had a little bit difference to them, but close enough that the differences actually accentuated the other ones. So all complementary.
So they all work together. What do we got? We got a mix of
3
3 different corn whiskeys.
at 102 proofed.
Yes.
So we proofed it down to 102, and it's good.
Yes. So we
You
get a
know
little
that
bit here. We'll try it straight at 102. Smooth right off the bat. A little bit of heat creeps in around the edges. It's a little astringent on the back end, but that's probably from the fast aging on the oak. So not bad. Perfectly servable as it is. Now, let's proof it down to our 2 most common.
And we did age all 3 of the whiskeys, so this is the combination of all 3 whiskeys' colors.
Yeah, we fast age them on these little spiral oaks. So first off, I'm gonna add, that should bring it down to about 90 proof. It kind of reorders it, which is a little weird. The astringency moves up a little toward the front. The burns in the middle, and it's mellow on the back end. So it just kind of reordered all the
Here's
flavors.
a question. What if you put an ice cube in it instead of adding water? How would that change it? Do you want to find out?
Well, that wouldn't change the proof immediately. It would change it over time.
Yeah.
So we're going to try this again, and we're going to proof it down to, and that should bring us closer to 80 proof.
Now, we have handed this out at about 80, 85 proof and got good results
We
from
found 80, 85 proof seems to be about the butter zone for this. Oh yeah, that smooths it right out. So, yep, this particular mix of whiskey, right around the 80, 85 proof mark. Nice and smooth, little bit of oaky flavor to it. The astringency cuts down. A little bit of warmth on the back end. You get that nice little chest, warm, tingly feeling. Good stuff.
it. We have yet to decide if we're going to keep, like, combining corn whiskeys as we make them, but for as long as it will work and they taste good together, we probably will blend.
Well, hopefully we know somebody's gonna have a party soon because we're starting to stack up. We need to gift some out.
I think I know some people who want some gifts.
So that's it for this time around. Like, subscribe, do the internet stuff. See the buy us a coffee link so I can buy more of these jars so I quit running out.
And maybe you can hire a housekeeper who can do the dishes.
Yeah, tell me about it. 2 of us are too damn busy to keep up with our housework.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Or maybe we just really hate dishes.
Yeah, well, who doesn't?
There's somebody out there that doesn't. If you
Kind-
really love doing dishes, call me.
Kind of off note from the whiskey, but Korean sinks, for some reason, are like this high on us. And doing dishes, you wind up standing over like this the whole time. Kills my back. It's terrible. I'm pretty sure it doesn't do any better to hers.
Not any better for my back.
So see us to buy us a coffee link below because our sink's too low.
And we need something for our bag.
Need a back brace. So we'll see y'all next time. Have fun.